This is Joe Wood, and I'm here today to show you how to put together these beautiful metal wreath. So I was watching a video tutorial on how to make a leaf wreath. It was inspired on a video, or it's actually a wreath that someone purchased at Bed Bath & Beyond, and it was all out of tin metal, and it was like $60 original price, so they wanted to make it for less. So when I saw it, I thought, you know what, I'm not really big on decorating for Valentine's, but why not just, instead of having leaf cutouts, why don't I just try the hearts instead and just make it a Valentine's wreath. So I gave it a try, and here's the results. So anyhow, and all under $4. These are all Dollar Tree items. So basically, for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to use one of these wooden wreath, which I picked up at the Dollar Tree. And you can certainly use any type of wreath that you may have. I know that the Dollar Tree sells the metal ones. Those are good as well if you wanted to use that, by all means. And lately I've seen some made out of grapevine, so that may also work. So again, you can get as creative as you want, by all means. So we're going to be using these wreath as our base. For our hearts, we're going to be using these metal sheet cookie trays or cookie pans. They were a little hard to get this time of year because, of course, after the holidays, everybody purchases a lot of these for making cookies for Santa. So I'm guessing that's why our Dollar Trees may not carry them, or may not have plenty of them. But anyhow, so we're only going to be needing 4 trays, and each set brings 2. So I picked up 2 sets. So as you can see, it comes in sets of 2. And we're also going to be using a cookie cutter. I picked up a medium-sized cookie cutter, heart shape. Again, on the original tutorial I saw it was a leaf shape cookie cutter. For this one I'm using hearts. So and tissue papers, paper towels, a plate, and a sponge brush, all things that you may or may not have handy, but I typically carry all year round. And brown acrylic paint. So any type of brown color acrylic paint that you may have would work. Otherwise, Dollar Tree carries the Apple brand, which for $1 you get a pretty good deal out of it. Glue sticks, pencil, glue gun, and ribbon. So whatever type of ribbon you would like to get your bow out of, again, get as creative as you want. I'm going to use this buffalo plate ribbon, which I had in storage, because when Michael's Joann's Fabric had their after the holiday sale, these came up to be about $2-3 for the roll, which is a great deal. Now this one I actually picked up at the Dollar Tree, so if you happen to come around, these buffalo plait ribbon will be perfect as well. So anyhow, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to set our wreath base aside. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our cookie sheet or pan or cookie tray, and we're going to grab our heart shape cutout, and we're going to make hearts. So make sure to grab your pencil and push really hard. So for these, you're gonna need to be on a flat surface. Could be the floor, table, whatever. Just make sure that it's a flat surface so that when you're pushing to get your shape cut out or trace your shape, you're actually pushing really hard on your cookie tray. So, and I would also suggest to grab, don't separate your cookie trays, so use both at a time, one underneath the other, because whatever you trace on the top will come in the bottom, and it saves you time basically. So again, up to you. That's something I do, and I just go on tracing hearts. With the size of the cookie cutter that I grabbed, I get 3 hearts in a row. And you'll see why it's important to just do this in order. So when we get to cutting our hearts out, yes, we are going to cut them each individually. What I suggest you do is cut all the way around the edge of your cookie tray. So we're going to cut out all of our edge until we get this. Now the reason we do that is so that it is more manageable. We also want to cut our hearts in sets of 3. So if you did follow my instructions and did lines of your hearts, I cut in sets of 3. Again, this is more manageable, and it also helps with not getting cuts. The metal is very sharp, so you have to just manage it very carefully, as it can you can get cuts. Also, when cutting your metal hearts out, make sure that whatever surface you are using, it's either covered or that it's a surface that you can clean up easily. When I did this the first time, I did it on the floor, and there was pieces of metals all over the floor, and of course you can imagine cleanup was not the easiest, and certainly, you know, sharp objects and your feet don't work very well together. Anyhow, so we're gonna start cutting our heart shapes out, and like so. Again, be very careful not to cut yourself. You can certainly use gloves if you have any gloves available. That will help. Certainly will help tremendously. I try not to get as much scrap as you see, so this way it makes cleanup much easier. And like so, until you cut all your heart pieces out. Once you have all of your heart pieces cut out, you just set that on the side. Once you have all your heart pieces to the side, what we're going to do is, so you see that I cut a bunch of them out already for the purpose of this video. We're going to grab our sponge. If you don't have a sponge, you can use a cotton ball, works phenomenal. Or if you just simply want to use a tissue paper, by all means, whatever it is, it's easier for you. Again, it's a brown paint color, and what that does, it gives the metal that little bit of a rustic look, per se. You don't need a lot. I'm just going to grab just a little tiny drop of paint if it comes out, as you can see. And then what this does is it helps, my plate helps me spread it out evenly, and then I just kind of wipe it off the brush or the sponge. And what you want to do is you want to get a little bit of this paint on the edge, all around the edge of your heart, like so. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just the messier the better, basically. So you can take a look. I don't know if the light lets you see it, but anyhow, so I have some that have dried up, and you can see here what they look like. Let's see. So these are all my hearts already cut and etched, and so just set that aside. Oops, I made a mess. Of course I did. And so next, what I'm gonna do is I grab a heart and tissue paper, and you want to trace the words love, maybe peace. I did love, as you can see in the center of this baby right here. I did the word love. So this time I'm gonna actually make the letters larger. Once again, doesn't have to be perfect. The more messy the better, so that it looks like it's just not intended. But you can see I traced love, and if you want, you can use some of that brown paint and kind of go over it and make those letters a little darker. See? So it makes your writing a little bit darker. All right. Once you've done that, I would place your heart again, your metal heart, on top of the paper, on top of something cushiony. And with the scissors, I'm just going to make a little indent in the center. If you have a puncher, better, works great. And then I help with the pencil make the little hole a little more round. As you can see, I got that little hole in there. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside, and I'm gonna grab a piece of ribbon. I've already pre-cut mine. So, and then I'm gonna thread that through the love sign. Okay. Voila. See, oops. There you go. All right, so set that aside. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab, I've already started this one, of course, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our wreath, and we're going to start overlapping our hearts and gluing them all around until you finish up. So, and again, there's no perfection. If you want to try, the beautiful thing about these metal hearts, this metal, is that you can shape it however you like, which is perfect, because you can kind of play around with it and move them up, down, or whatever's necessary. So, just like so. I am very generous with when it comes down to my glue. Oops, that one wasn't painted. I got my work all mixed up. So I'm very generous when it comes down to my glue. And as you can see, I'm using paint side up. Again, you can just glue on top of the heart or on the top of the wreath. You can start seeing how that's coming along. And needless to say, I'm very thankful that everyone liked the idea of creating this metal wreath. I thought it was phenomenal to be able to get something like these looking, it looks so classy, right? And under $4. That to me was phenomenal. I love bargains. And of course, I love my Dollar Tree. Anyhow, so you can see how that's shaping up. And you do want to make sure that you're getting at least 2 hearts all around. So what I mean by that is 1 and 2. So whether it's 1 up, 1 down, you want to make sure that you are using 2 hearts as the filler, because that way it's going to make your wreath look a little bit more fuller, if you say so. All right. Also, I did have my cookie cutters already in stock, so I didn't have to buy any, but I did spot some really nice plastic heart cookie cutters at the Dollar Tree. So if you happen to come across them and you don't have any at home, certainly you can use you can also get them for $1. And again, you'll be just spending you'll be keeping your budget under $5 for this wreath. Another tip is you can use red color instead of brown, maybe black, I don't know. I personally chose the brown color paint because, you know, when metal rust, it turns sort of brownish looking, copper looking color. So that's why I went with brown, but you can get as creative as you want, and just use, I'm just gonna get some glue here. You can use any color you want for edging your edging your metal. Again, a little tip is just to make sure you don't cut yourself, because the metal is very sharp when you're cutting around it. I happen to just sit with my husband on the couch, watch TV, and cut away. That was when I was cutting the hearts shapes for this tutorial. But before that, I actually sat on the floor, which made a really big mess, as I said before. And I had metal pieces all over the place. And that was not pretty. not fun. So just be careful. But again, it's so awesome to be able to play around with the metal, and I'm almost done here. One more thing is I purchased the 2 sets of cookie sheets, but I didn't use all of them. I only used 3 trays, so, or 3.5. It's up to you. If you want to make your wreath a little tighter, you can use all 4. And by tighter, I mean close the hearts shapes a little bit more. Okay, just keep showing this up to the camera. Or you can spread them apart a little bit more and use less. Hey, again, there's no wrong or right. It's whatever you think looks best. And until you're actually doing it, until you actually give it a try, you're not gonna know what works best for you. So I'm almost up to using all the hearts. These are lifting up a little bit here. So I guess I didn't go as generous as I could be. So there's more here. And I think with these, I'll be able to finish it off. But once again, you can see how I needed a little bit more, and I have some extras cutouts. And so I'm just going to give it that edge, rustic edge, so that I can use, my fingers are all brown from the paint, but hey, it's a messy job, but I love it. And I can even use my fingers there to just spread it a little bit more. I love it. And so maybe just cut one more. Why not, right? Why not? Just in case. There we go. I'll just set that aside. And boy, when I'm done with this, these scissors are going to be very sharp. They say that when you're cutting metal with your scissors, it acts as a sharpener. So we'll see about that. I don't know. I can tell you, they cut really good. Definitely not a craft that you want your little one to join in with, because this is not something you gotta be very careful with. All right, so let's go ahead and finish these up. Let's see if this baby squeezes the little bit that's left. And yep, I think this time I got it. So I put a little bit of, pour a little bit of glue on top of the metal hearts and on top of the wooden wreath, just because this way sticks to both. So maybe want to get this last heart somewhere in there like so, maybe another one on the top, which is my last one, and voila. What do you guys think? See? After that, you can just spread it however you want. Sorry, I don't have a professional camera, so it's kind of hard to get the take on this. But as you can see, I'm almost done. If you want to grab a little bit more of that brown paint and kind of just rough around the edges of your wreath, there you have it. And okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our bow. And so I grabbed just about, I will say this is like 8 inches, 8 inches or so. So my first round is 8 inches, and I go all the way around, so I make a loop, and then I will make a second loop in the back, which is a little bit larger, so it's a little bit of a larger loop, and then I'll cut, and so you have your 2 loops, and what I'll do is I pinch the center. As you can see, I pinch the center of the loop. Then I'll grab another little bit of the ribbon, and I fold it in half, and so I wrap around the fold or the pinch that I made on my bow. So come back to my glue gun and glue that on like so. You can cut the excess and just tuck it in. I decided to tuck it in. Ouch. Yeah. So, and this is my bow. You can make any bow you want, by all means. It's up to you. And then I cut another piece of about 12-inch length or so. And what I do is I grab the edges and fold it in half and just cut a triangle, okay? And grab the center, pinch it, and voila. So have these, I'm gonna set that aside. So I have these 2 pieces there, and then I have my heart, my love, right? What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna make a little knot on the heart and maybe dab a little bit of glue in the center. Let me see. So a little bit of glue on that bow, on that ribbon, just so that it stays put there. Okay. And then we're going to come back to our wreath and pick which one is the top. And I would say my top is about here. So what I want to do is I want to grab a little dab of glue and just like so glue my heart center. And then I'll grab my 2 legs, I call it, or the remaining lace of your ribbon. Put more glue on top of your wreath. Ouch. And then a little more to put the final bow. Now here you want to be very generous with your glue, so that it sticks properly. And just hold it there in place for a little bit. And also, if you want, for this wreath, I didn't get any hanging part to it, like a little hoop or a little loop per se to hang the wreath from. But if you want, you can certainly do, let's do this. So I'll grab another little bit of ribbon, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip my wreath, and in the back, if you can see, I'm going to grab my glue gun, and I'm just going to glue the little end tabs onto the little end tabs of the ribbon onto the wreath. So this way, this will help when hanging on the wall or on the door, whatever it is, the place you've chosen for this wreath to go on. Now that this is dry, I'm gonna set this one aside. Oops. I'm just getting it up a little bit and just fluff up your heart, and voila, there you have it. Your cookie sheet or metal, zinc metal wreath. Alright guys, thank you so much for spending some time here with me making this tutorial, and hope to see you soon again.